Okay, we are back on the floor at HP Discover 2014 with Rick, one of the consultants over at HP. And Rick, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us. I really love the server.
See that.
So is this beautiful or what?
Yeah, it is. It is. This is the Moonshot platform server for the hosted desktop.
Perfect. So that's what we want to chat with you about, is this whole HDI revolution thing going on. So can you tell us a bit about HDI from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, our customers many of them have already invested in VDI, virtual desktop infrastructure, but there's a certain class of users that they're struggling with to be able to provide the kind of performance that they're kind of used to in having their own device. So they've been kind of left stranded to either have those devices and all the investment that goes with them versus possibly approaching it in the same way that they do with their other virtual infrastructure. There's a lot of advantages to moving some of those users into the data center, including the ability to enhance the company's mobility strategy. So it's not just about the desktop, it's all about how people want to be able to access the applications, the data, from where they want to, when they want to, and from whatever device they want to use.
Well, perfect. You mentioned advantages and mobile advantages. That's sort of interesting. I haven't heard anyone talk about mobile advantages with HDI yet, which is, we've talked to a lot of people. So can you expand upon how that fits into the mobile world?
Well, a lot of what's driving virtual desktops and the use of hosted desktops is the ability to get access to your information or the applications that are processing your information, again, from wherever you are, or from whatever device you're using, whether you're using a tablet, a laptop, you're sitting in an airport and need to grab some information from your company, and they need to be able to do that in a way that's secure, that they have some governance over, and that they have a strategy around how they're going to allow the flow of information. And that really more plugs into the mobility strategy than it does just by focusing on the desktop itself. The customers are really trying to figure out how they're going to do that, and this platform gives them a very good set of characteristics for the data center, the footprint, the power savings. And you also think about removing some of those devices out from the office floor, right? You've got desktops, you've got those devices that are sitting there generating heat, consuming electricity. By going to small point of use devices or handhelds, you reduce that footprint, that power consumption. You get those savings in addition to the power savings you get by virtue of using the Moonshot platform.
Perfect. Yeah, it's the old Citrix story: any place, anywhere, anytime, and any device, and it's a beautiful thing. And it just expands that. You mentioned the power savings, which and the cost savings, which is amazing too. I find that amazing. As a consultant, you're extremely technical. Can you describe the actual hardware as we're sitting in front, and I keep massaging it like a beautiful? I would love to.
So this is the Moonshot platform. The Moonshot platform supports a shared infrastructure, right? So inside of this infrastructure, there's a management fabric, there's network fabrics, there are other fabrics that might be used by other cartridges over time. What we're able to do with these cartridges is provide server capabilities in here. Each of these cartridges can support one or more servers, each with their own memory, each with their own storage capability. This happens to be a cartridge with one server. The cartridge that we use for the hosted desktop actually has 4 servers on one cartridge. So each one of these cartridges is hosting 4 individual desktops. And what we're able to do with the Moonshot chassis also is then to support 180 desktops inside of one 4.3U form factor. Each individual, each boot separately, each lives separately, and they have the personality, whether you choose persistent or non-persistent, you get to choose that as part of the implementation. And you can do that on any one or more of these cartridges. We can support 180 in a single chassis, and if you put 9 of these in a rack, you're supporting over 1,000 desktops and roughly 1 rack's worth of floor space. At a tremendous reduction in power and cooling requirements and cabling.
Tremendous too. It is truly tremendous. You mentioned persistent versus non-persistent, and in the VDI, HDI world, that's a big conversation. As a consultant, if a customer says to you, "Hey, when should I be persistent? When should I not?" What's your, how do you answer that?
Well, again, sometimes we share our own experiences. My own experience, I had call centers, and some of my call centers for some of the pods, I wanted at shift change or pod change to make sure that all the desktops were set back to 0. So everybody had to walk in to sit down at any desktop and be able to get the same exact experience and not have to worry about anything that happened in the previous session. So in those cases, we use non-persistent. We would basically, as they did a shift change, we would re-image and go. In some cases, for back office applications where there's specific applications that people are looking for, we would use persistent because they have key data or information that they need to be able to access possibly from multiple devices and be able to access the same applications processing that information. And persistence allows that to be quite successful, especially for mobile users and for back office applications.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Rick, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. I could chat with you for a long time, and we should hug it together. Do you want to hug it together?
No, I'm pacing myself. It's too early in the week. Maybe by the end of the week.
By the end of the week, I'll come back and we can hug it together. Really?
Yeah,
we can get pictures of it and post it on Twitter. What do you think about that?
That would be awesome.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's like a pretty lady. You want to rub it all over.
All 180 servers over.
Oh, it's everything. It's great. So thank you again.
You bet.